ready to go, mate?
Yep, ready when you are, mate.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford. Well, it's a wee review of the season so far podcast with myself, Ryan, and JP. JP joins us this week again. JP, again, a review of the season, which has been so far, you could probably say positive to a masterly degree, I would say. Cup in the bag, obviously we're 6 points behind our rivals. But I think, mate, considering, again, we'll go back to the start of the season when Big Ange came in. If you go for that contrast to now, Masons would have accepted being a bit behind with a trophy in the back, considering we were unsuccessful last season with trophies. You'd have maybe have took it to a certain degree.
Aye, first of all, good evening, mate. Merry Christmas.
And
Hope you
also,
had a good one as well.
Merry Christmas, mate, say that.
Yeah. I hope you and your family had a good time, mate.
Too many mince pies, mate.
Aye. Too many chocolate Yule logs.
I love him, mate. Love him.
I would say first 6 months in Ange's reign, very positive. The only downside is we're not top of the league. I would expect us to be maybe a bit closer. I think we could look at that and we could say some of that's probably our own doing, not the fact that they've played well, the fact that we've dropped daft points here and there. You look back, you look at a Livingston game, Giakoumakis misses a penalty, we could have won the game, we draw nothing each. You look back at the St Mirren game away, again created quite a few chances, very wasteful in front of goal that night. We came up short. We could look at the beginning of the season, albeit it was, for me that was a pretty rushed the beginning of the season as well when we went to Tynecastle. We ended up losing the game 2-1. They're not after a great start there, so they're the kind of main ones that I think, if things go the other way, then you're possibly not looking at a 6 point margin between you and across the water. But overall, definitely last season, night and day, compared to, where we were this time a year ago. Because where we were a year ago, St Johnstone, when we 2-0 up, St Johnstone got that goal back. In my opinion, a year ago, we either draw or get beat again. Because the players, it tended to happen time and time again. When the players conceded, they just sort of crumbled. And results last season. You're 2-0 up. I mean, many times last season when we 2-0 up against teams, we're 2-0 up against AC Milan, 2-0 up against Leo. It happened time and time again. So, we ended up getting beat the game 4-2 in Milan. We drew 2 each with Leo. The 2 games right away. You won the 2, and that's the difference between qualifying and not qualifying in Europe. So, yeah, that's probably the only downside. And people are probably sitting here going, don't be too negative because, we've won a trophy. And you've got to look at that as well because the teams, they've won silverware this season. The only thing I think Slight has done up to now is maybe squad depth. You've seen it now. We've been absolutely. I've said it on the chat, off camera and stuff. I really do think somebody's sitting there with a voodoo dog.
I know, mate.
And they're sitting just stabbing it every time we play. Because it just seems to be every game now we're playing. One of our big hitters just straps with injury. Albeit, yesterday, everybody's like, oh no, Kyogo dropped again, but Ange just said he's okay and it's nothing major to worry about or anything. They just took him off as a massive precautionary. You ask me, Ryan, I don't think he was, even through the cup final, I don't think he was 100%. When he hurted himself against Betis. And people are saying, why did you play him? And well, I'm not being funny, but not a lot of people will have heard of that young boy, Joey Dawson. And albeit he came on and done well. But you're looking at the bench and you're going, who else is there?
Nothing.
It's young boys, inexperienced boys that's not been tried and trusted. But I'll tell you what, just goes to show me a player like that drops out and another player steps to the fold, Mia Bada, I thought he was absolutely, that's probably his best game in Celtic yesterday. I thought he showed millions more to his game. He's back to goal, he was unbelievable. His link-up play was good, his runs off the ball were good. He was always wanting the ball. And I also thought he's running in behind. He was really good at yesterday. And he was a big threat for Celtic yesterday in terms of moving forward. He made Rogic's job a hell of a lot easier. I mean, how many passes did Rogic at least attempt or put through to him yesterday? He scored the second goal off it. And I think he got to a point, but I thought he was just, he tried a couple of shots and I'm like, right, wee man, you need to pass that, look up, lift your head. Because he's trying for that hat trick, but okay. No, if players are dropping out, you want other players to step up, and I thought they done that really well yesterday. I actually thought under the circumstances that was a great performance for him.
Yeah, I think obviously get back to the start of the season, obviously against Hearts, mate, I think we can all agree that again Kyle get thrown in the last 15 minutes and people were even questioning him because he's 15 minutes, he'd done nothing because he's just come into the country. Starfelt didn't have the best of starts. Again, he was maybe on a negative, I would say. A small negative for St John's game. I think he could have done better. Hibs game, again, I think he's got performances like that in him, but again, he's got good ones in him because we've seen that. So that was, I think we all kind of accepted him. We might get beat off Hearts because of the way we were. It wasn't too doom and gloom, and I think we spoke about it before. I think the turning point of the season was a victory against Aberdeen. For me, anyway, I think it was a big game because all the pressure was Ange is going to lose this, and if he loses this, he might be to do by Christmas. He might not be here again, mate. Ange is still here. He'll be here in January. He'll be here the 17th. I think when the first game is back. So all the media and journalists and all your other side of the water blogs and about Ange's away by Christmas. He's a FUD basically. Well, he's not a FUD. He's still here. He's won a trophy. He's still. I generally believe that we're here because he is a very, very, very good manager. Could Eddie Howe get us to where we are now under the restructure? We can't tell, but maybe no, because he's no came for having to rebuild a squad. He's came for rebuilding a squad for maybe leagues upwards, but not to come in and totally win a league title. That Ange has got to. Ange knows this. He's got to win a league title this year. Obviously, by the fan standards, he's got to win it because if he doesn't, then you know yourself, mate. Fans will call him for the shop, even though he's on one the door. That's just the way football is in Glasgow and Celtic. So, but I think there's been a few games, as you say, mate, that I think we could talk about. I think one game that comes to mind would be the Jackie Marcus penalty, the Livingston game. I think if again you know what, I pinpoint it just on him because we were very, very poor that day. But again, if you go and win that, the momentum carries forward, and you might have been 3 points better off, and you might even be top of the league now because the momentum carries forward. And as we've said, mate, football changes in a matter of minutes, a matter of weeks. Football just switches, and if you get the vital points or that chance that you take, your season can totally either derail or it can just fly forward.
Aye, definitely, mate. Possibly another result. It's just came to me the other news of the United game at Parkhead where we draw 1 each.
Aye.
That's another game that you'd be looking at and going like that, right? Because so on reflection, I think Ange and John Kennedy and the boys will be doing that pretty much themselves. I think Ange will be really busy now. The players will probably go and get time off, but Ange will still be really busy. But I do think that they're the games that he'll be like, yeah. He'll be raging that they didn't take the maximum points for. But listen, obviously Rodgers' season was a monumental season. We went unbeaten the whole season, and albeit we didn't win every game, but we drew games as well. But they're very unlikely. That's going to happen again. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I know people keep saying, it's Celtic, doesn't it? You're not going to win every single game.
No.
And that's what people need to get in their heads, There's going to be other games maybe coming now to the end of the season. Well, there's going to be points strapped. Because they play that much football and people are going, but I get paid a lot of money. I know, but they're playing every 3-4 days. And some guys, like we're seeing now, like say Turnbull, like say Kyogo, like say Jota, like say Abada, like say Big Beaton, like say Big Starfelt, like say Big Vickers, like say Juranovic, like say Ralston. They're playing every single game.
Mm.
They're playing every game. And sometimes you're playing 2-3 games a week. I know people are going like that. That's no excuse. They get paid a lot of money. But they're only human. And eventually, something will happen, whether it be a bad tackle or maybe you've just not warmed up properly or you've maybe overstretched for a ball, it's maybe getting overpassed to you or and a muscle or something's going to go on you. Eventually, it's going to happen. Because you've not got to, unfortunately, we don't have the squad depth to bring Turnbull out and bring somebody else in now.
Aye, we've got
To have the same impact.
We've not got the quality to come in and.
Aye, that's what I mean. The quality. Albeit we've got guys there that will come in and they'll do a job, and you know,
squad players.
You can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can maybe get away with it, and I don't, like I said, mate. I've said before, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but you can get away with it with teams like Ross County or the odd game with St Johnstone or St Mirren and your Hamiltons or your Dundees or teams of that ilk. You see when it comes to Aberdeen and Hibs and Hearts and they're a wee bit more astute.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you start to, when you're bringing in players, maybe bringing in Mikey Johnson, who's come back for a long-term injury, he isn't up to full flow. He's not going to agree with Jota's going to. Because he's just no there in terms of the quality. And he's no there in terms of maybe match fitness. And then you've got Forrest out in a long-term injury and you're bringing him in and he's breaking down again. Because the team are in full flow. He's still trying to, he's still in sort of rehab, if you say. That's why he's probably broke down again as well. But I know people are going like that now. You need to look at the training, we need to do this, we need to do that. You look at the training, they're all being trained the same way. No, everybody's picking up injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And then we heard about the boys that have supposedly had COVID there, and it was just a massive fluke as to how it's all happened at the one time. I mean, how many other teams do you know with that amount of injuries to their first team?
Well, it's actually similar point that with Scott Arcroft on the offer, and he said that we kind of said the exact same, that and it was me, Scott, and John, and what other club in the world could have 15 to 18 players missing and still compete and put in players to play? We were missing all in, including COVID or injuries, suspensions, whatever the circumstances was. You had about 15 to 18 players missing for the St Johnstone squad yesterday. And that's guys who maybe B team players or development players, all in first team players. And you still comfortably beat St Johnstone. So that's how me and you are talking about. We've got squad dead, fans and squad depth, but we've not got quality. Mm-hmm. But then in some capacity, you're bringing in guys like Scales to play, Dawson to play, even Barkas. Again, mate, I want to talk about Barkas. While we're talking about squad depth, thought the big man looked comfortable. Didn't have much today, but he
came for close balls when needed.
Came for close balls.
He was good. I thought his distribution was
very,
really
very good. He was came out. He was a bit demanding. He was out and about. So again, listen, we've all gave a guy abuse. No, abuse. But
he gave Starfelt a hard. I know. Obviously, Starfelt. That was a misplaced pass. But he gave him a hard time for it. I don't know if you see it, mate. But he was screaming at him.
But that's what I'm saying as well. Some fans, even the rest of the game, they were talking about. Again, I don't know why they're making assumptions about this. They're saying, Barkas couldn't catch COVID and all that. We silly remarks about that, right? Which isn't funny in certain terms, but we're having in the room. You shouldn't be talking about that. But
I think people are just a bit frustrated, mate, how the total they paid for the guy.
But I think
we've not really had much in return.
I think as well, the fact as well, people realise as well, we've all gave him a bit of shit, right? But he was playing in a horrendous Celtic team last season, a horrendous backroom staff, a horrendous atmosphere about the club.
Aye. He's came
and
to
then-
another country as well,
aye,
mate. It's
And
probably
again, there's a lot of things that happened last year, but we won't hopefully eventually know about, but we won't know about in certain terms. I still say that, see if he goes to like, Turkey or he goes back to Greece or he goes somewhere else, and go there very well, because you don't play with Greece, you don't play with AK Athens are nae mugs. They're a decent European team. They've played in Champions Leagues. He's played at a high level. And he's came to different, and he's just froze last year. But it wasn't just him that froze last year. But on the game yesterday, I thought he played well. What he had to do, he didn't have to do much today, but that'll give him confidence. Obviously Hart's still number one. Hart will be your number one. But who's to say he can't push for second? He can't push to be better than what he is? Because let's be fair, he shouldn't be the for fifth choice. He's came for a decent team in Athens. Realistically, obviously, people were talking about how we were depleted and this could be a really dodgy game for today and all that. See, if you actually look at the squad, right, you've got Liam Scales, who is an Ireland squad most of the time, or he's running about that capacity.
Yeah.
£5 million for a great international goalkeeper. You've got Greek's number 2 or number 1 goalkeeper and your sticks. You've got a right back, and Juranovic, who's Croatia's right back.
Croatia's number 1 right back.
You've got Vickers, who I would say is a Premier League standard.
Although Juranovic sort of played higher up yesterday.
So there's a back three in it. So you've got Welsh 21's player. You've got Vickers, who I would say is a Premier League standard centre back. Starfelt's a Swedish internationalist. You've got Israeli internationalist in midfield with Beaton. You've got Rogic still playing, who's Abada, who's an Israeli internationalist. You've got who else is playing?
Kyogo did start.
Kyogo starts. So you've got a Japan. So realistically, that's as much as you're doing to bare bones. It should be good enough to beat St Johnstone, but because of the way we are, it was all doom and gloom. It's all Celtic are going to struggle, and you're getting it on the media. Even though we're only 6 points, points behind, we've won a cup. Considering where we've came from, they're all saying the league's done. The league's finished. You've got Mister, who I respect a lot. He's done a lot of media work. Hugh Keevins. Rangers very, very below the game this year. Don't think there's that many points really.
Many predictions that she had rang her the last 10 years though.
Mate, honestly, right, ever since this season, I think was it Rodgers' first season, I don't really trust any media outlet. I don't really listen to a lot of media outlets, but I stopped listening to any media outlet when Celtic got Rodgers and they signed Dembele, they signed Sinclair, they signed Lincham, and Rangers came up for the championship, and they all said Rangers will win the league. And I can remember it was on the papers, and I can remember I took screenshots of it and I kept it. I was like, what in God's earth are you? They're just coming up. There's no money. They're not going to sign players that we have got at our disposal. Even the squad that we had would have won the league against Rangers that season.
I know.
And you've come in and you brought in an elite manager in Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, people have got their different opinions on what to call an elite coach and elite manager. People say that you need to win trophies to be an elite manager. I say you don't. I say if you're improving players and you're improving teams and you're getting the best out of them to a high degree and a high level, I would say you're an elite coach to an elite manager to a certain degree. Obviously, to be top, you've got to win trophies. Because I called Ralph Rangnick an elite manager, an elite coach, and I got a bit of on Twitter, I think all the Man U fans, what are you talking about? I'm like, do you not realise who he is?
A lot of them don't know who he is.
What he's done for German, he's Mr. Germany when it comes to coaching.
Aye.
Klopp and all that, I look up to him. So, if
Chelsea, Tuchel, I think he was his mentor for a while as well.
So that tells you that he's top draw, and Man U fans are saying, "Oh, I think it was Tim Sherwood actually." No, was it Tim Sherwood? Tim Sherwood said he's lucky to get the Man U job. I'm like, Tim, I
had a wee chuckle.
Tim, you've got a wealth of knowledge in football. You played at a higher level. Show the guy a bit of respect, man. He's came for. He's basically made Leipzig the way there.
Aye.
The way the philosophy is. So, but obviously, get back to the St Johnstone Fubacas. I generally think that I'm not saying he's going to be playing, but it's a good stepping stone from, because a lot of fans gave him jip right after the game. Again, some fans are fickle. They were going, "Oh, Barkas and goals, aye, one game." I'm like, going to give the guy a bit of praise. He played well. He caught a few crosses. Aye, granted, that's what goalkeepers should be doing. But considering he's come out the cold, and I like what Anne says. Aye,
his last game was July.
Aye, he came out and caught a few crosses. Done what he had today. It'll give him a bit of confidence, and it just shows why we train hard, because he's got to come out the cold and play. He's playing and played. So I think fans need to give him a bit of forget about last season, what he's done. Focus on the game yesterday, and he played well. So you need to say, well done, mate, and hopefully that grows him. And I still think he'll go away on loan, or he'll still get sold. But
aye, so they are.
At least it's gave him a bit of confidence, and maybe I think to maybe who he is again, maybe feeling himself again.
Aye, no, I totally agree with you, mate. I just want to have a wee read out at the list of players that were actually missing for us yesterday. That's all right, mate. So we had Joe Hart, Scott Bain, Hazard, Julian, Taylor, Uragidi, Murray, Ralston, Turnbull, Jota, Johnson, Shaw, McGregor, Forrest, Dembele, Henderson, Giakoumakis, Nadjeti, all missing yesterday for that squad. That is unbelievable when you look at the actual performance the boys went away and put in. Away from home against a team who came to Celtic Park and offered absolutely nothing.
And think about the value of that missing as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, and effectively you could say for a good 80 odd minutes of that game, you're probably looking a good 78 to 80 minutes. You're probably looking at minus Kyogo as well, because I know he started, but he came off pretty early. I tell you who else was outstanding yesterday, James McCarthy. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. That's the last three times he's come into the team, right in out of call, and he's been probably one of the best players on the pitch. And I also thought Big Viton was superb as a captain yesterday. He's I seen a different side to Beaton yesterday. He was very, very vocal on the pitch. So was Big Barkas. Like I said earlier on, like when Starfelt gives that ball away, he wasn't giving him a hard time, but he was sort of telling him, no, you need to be switched on. No, you've just given that ball away and you jog back. You can't be doing that. You need to be sprinting back. Get back to the... You've made an error. Don't give in till you've at least tried to win the ball back. Don't jog back and go, oh, do you know what? One of them will get it.
Aye.
It's your error. Get back and help the boys. So I think he's, he should, and I thought Barkas' distribution was unbelievable yesterday. It was all one touch pass. It was he didn't take 2 and 3 touches. Well, like say Joe Hart, now and again he looks as if he's going to get caught.
I know.
For trying to take, he's certainly a lot better than Joe Hart at that time. He was all one. He knew, Barkas knew where he was putting the ball before when he was getting the ball. He knew where it was going next. You could see that. And even the playing out for the back yesterday, that was unbelievable. They tried to press us yesterday, and we were just picking passes in and out and like big triangles. And so I thought that was really good. And I think there was one yesterday. I thought it was outstanding the way he done it. I think it was Big Carter Vickers was being closed in with a boy May. It was before May went off, and he cuts it back to Barkas. Now Barkas is running like the ball like that. The ball's coming that way, and Barkas is running across the ball like that, and he just zips it right out to Juranovic. That was a what a pass! It just with the left foot just zipped right out of the like, out onto the wing, and it started a counter attack for us. So I was really happy with Barkas yesterday. I thought he was really good. The goal was, it was a good goal. I think even Joe Hart would have possibly struggled to save that header yesterday.
You can't, but you know yourself, mate. You'll get fans will blame Barkas for that. And
but by the way, did you see he got up? He managed to get up. He was really unlucky because he was up his horn and he was really unlucky. The ball just sort of dipped to him. It was a good header. You're right, mate. It was a good header. But no, I think a lot of fans need to calm down. See, when Celtic aren't doing too well, or they're having maybe an half day, or they're not even an half day. They've maybe not started yet. Fans are too quick to go on their back. we need to calm down and reflect on where we actually are as a team. Like I said before, mate, I think we're very much ahead of where we should be.
Aye, I think in for contrast to where fans came in and you were basically no squad. He's built in Tapia, he's brought in some youth guys, and you can see what he's trying to build. And when the players talk, you can see the players are buying into what he's trying to do. They're trying everything to adapt to what he wants, and like you say, guys like Jota and even Abada. Abada was honking against St Mirren, but yesterday his movement was unbelievable.
Unreal.
I don't know if that's a position where he could play. If he's actually better up front, because he's not have to have the responsibility to take men on and think about it up front. He's just boom, he's away.
Yeah.
So could he actually be a number 10? Just play that wee role.
My dad actually says, Ryan, he thinks he's better through the middle than what he has out wide. He gives you more through the middle than what he does out wide. I thought it was a big surprise yesterday, Ryan. I don't know about yourself, mate. A lot of boys probably maybe feel the same. I don't know. That's the first time I've seen Ange go over the two up front. And I thought it worked really, really well. See, especially away from home against a team like that. I thought it worked really, really well. The three boys at the back controlled everything. I'm not even going to slag Starfelt, right, because he just undercooked the pass. I've done it myself millions of times, mate. It's one of the things that happens. Doesn't mean you're a bad player or all of a sudden you're rubbish. And he has made a couple of mistakes, but he's had never good games and he's had bad games, if you ask me. If you go and analyse Starfelt alone...
I would say considering, obviously, for a review of the first half of the season, when they first came in, every one of us all had our doubts about him. But he slowly, and then he got injured, and before he got injured, him and Vickers' partnership was superb. They were again. There's no misconception here as well. He got injured and in a form draft as well. You've got to look at wee things like that. If we had a back four, and actually, Bill Ralston's in this review as well because he's been superb. You've got, let's be honest, you've got Croatia's top right back as it stands on a national level, and for me, he should be Scotland's right back now. And Ralston, he's been brilliant. His stats are telling you that the two of them are very, very good right backs now. And I thought every one of us would have said Ralston would be in the Celtic's right back category consistently. And I think as well, it's giving you the option now that the two of them can play either forward or one back. So if Juranovic is playing, I would say you're buzzing off it. If Ralston's playing, you're thinking, right, as well, because you're no taking away the quality. But the left back situation, Scales playing, I thought Scales played all right, to be fair.
I really like him now, and I think he's a tidy big player.
People might disagree with me, but I'd rather see Liam Scales playing than Taylor, especially going forward. No, because I've got my critics of Taylor, but
don't tell lies.
No, but going forward, I think he gives you more. Defensively, I'm a bit unsure about him. He's not really been tested much, but I think going forward, he gets to Byron and he's whipping balls in. Taylor's more steady defensively than he is going forward. He's steady Eddie, 6 or 7 out of 10. But I'm starting to say we need more than 7 or 6 out of 10 every week. If we want to go and progress to win the league, you need to have minimum 8 out of 10 every week. You can have the odd player having the odd 5 or 6, but I think that's maybe we need to improve going forward, maybe for January. And obviously the January signings are roughly maybe taking shape with the 3 guys for the J League. So, or maybe 4, if there's going to be a 4th. But I think that side for me, I know people say, do we need a left back? I still think we need a top quality left back to come in if we're going to try and pursue maybe European football, because ideally you want to get a left back to come in and play for next season, no have to sign one. If that's obviously, but January I know is a hard month to get top quality players.
I agree, mate, but I don't think I'll be honest with you now, mate, I don't actually think Ange's priority is to bring a defender in.
I want to say it's priority, but I'm just, from a personal point of view,
fair enough.
Because Bolingoli looks like he's not going to play again. And so you're left with Taylor and Scales. I want to say it's gives maybe full confidence, but on on Shields' performance yesterday, it was reasonable enough.
No, listen, the big fella's done really well for his come in. It's took us long enough to get to see him because I thought that dragged on a wee bit as well when we signed him. I thought, where is he? Like, why is he no? He's not even getting on. He's not even getting on the bench, and you begin to think. And then I think it came to what game was it?
Was it Bettis who played at left back?
He played it. He played that. He started that.
He man of the match, didn't he?
I think he did. No, I actually think it was Uragidi got man of the match that night. Done it right.
No, it was what cup game was it he played in? He get man of the match. I'm sure it was a cup game he played. He definitely get man of the match recently in a game. Skills.
Must have been.
Or he go to the Parkhead man of the match, but he might have got the official man of the match. But he definitely,
right, okay, aye.
I'm sure it was better to get man of the match against with Celtic Park. But obviously, I think you'd really get the man of the match.
Uragiri definitely got it on the telly because I watched it back in BT Sport.
That's what it is.
And then another one. I mean, there you go. There's another one that could potentially be a right back. You're talking about Juranovic and Ralston, so you've got cover there. But the reason I'm thinking Angel no go for like a left back or a defender
because
he's got Scales, Taylor. Even if Bolingoli's not there, he's got Scales, Taylor, and Montgomery.
Yeah.
And I think he's seen enough of the boys. People can say what they like about the young lad Montgomery. He's a young boy who's developing. So
he trusts him.
He must be. He brought him on yesterday when he took Scales off. And by the way, Bolingoli was sitting there. For me, that sent a big message on, as you just said there, Bolingoli might not play again. For me, that was a big message yesterday again that maybe he's not in the picture. Time will tell, obviously, with the January Monday just on the corner. But in terms of defenders, no, I don't think that's a priority, mate. I actually think it's going to be midfield to forward, possibly even forward line.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember too long ago, there are three main central forwards are all injured, practically no fully fit right now.
That's like you say, mate. Somebody's got a voodoo doll on us, mate.
Honestly, it's absolutely shocking. I mean, I think the last time I saw this was when Dembele and Griffiths were out at the same time.
Aye.
With two daft niggling injuries.
Was it Mikey Johnson had up front or something?
I think he ended up having to play Lewis Morgan and Mikey Johnson up front as a kind of makeshift forward line. And again, mate, you'll get away with that. Certain teams, you can't keep doing that every week. I think you spoke in the group chat about it, mate, as well. We cannot play against that mob with Mikey Johnson as a striker. We cannot play.
It's already having the squad well enough for the odd game, maybe 2 games at a push, but if you go 3, 4, 5, it's going to derail eventually.
Eventually it does, and that's what happened against St Mirren, mate. If you ask me, they just hit a brick wall in terms of. I think Angie's only frustration at me is we didn't score a goal or 2.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't. That's what he was saying. I can't be frustrated with how we played because we weren't poor. Even though the scoreline doesn't reflect well for us and makes it look like Celtic weren't up too much that day. And that's the thing as well, Ryan. I think a lot of fans that don't manage to get to the games, and I think they're getting sort of. That's what annoys them. See, sometimes, like say, when you see scorelines, so we totally bluttered Hearts in the Cup, right, at Celtic Park. It was 3 going on about 9, 10, 11 that day.
Aye.
And it finished 3-2. That makes it look like the game was actually really close when it wasn't.
It wasn't.
The 4-0 game, we get beat by Leverkusen. That makes it look we get scalped. We didn't.
We didn't.
So sometimes the scoreline for me doesn't reflect how the actual game went. And you'll get that opposite fans and they'll have their wee moment of glory and he's never done this, he's never done that. And fair dues, because we'd probably do the same, to be honest, if the shoe was on the other foot. But for me, that sometimes my question is, did you watch a game? Because if you didn't, then you wouldn't be saying half the stuff you're saying.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't reflect the game itself. And if you're a football man, you want to be real in a conversation about football, then you'll understand it. that wasn't the case. Do you know what I mean? There was more in the game than what the scoreline showed. Because scorelines sometimes don't always reflect, you know, the overall performance.
That's how I like as well, because obviously, when you actually at the game, obviously when you're watching on the telly, you only really see where the ball is. But see, when you actually watch a game, I tend to watch games now as a full. Obviously, I'm a Celtic fan, but I like to watch certain players and see what they're doing, their movements. You see a lot more in what the players actually do. You see that sometimes people think like Kyogo just stands about. But when the ball's there, he's doing stuff away up there. Abada's moving up there. Abada's always away up there. But you don't see that on the telly. He's always giving you an option. He might be a bit raw, but he's always giving you an option. And I think, like you says, I think the game against Livingston was nothing each, whatever it was. As you say, it's nothing each. Fucking me must have been pony today. Me must have no credit, fuck all. But we created a lot, just one like clinical enough. And when you watch a game, and like you say, if you go to the games and you analyse game, you're thinking, like this Mirren game, you're like, how the fuck did we lose that? But we know why we lost it, because he was going through a compact team down the middle where you know it's just not going to happen. You need to get done it. See, after Jaime came on, Juranovic, boom, 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 get the balls in the box. We were getting a bit of joy.
The only problem is we didn't have Enderer on the end of them.
But see, I think if we'd done that for the start of the game, you yourself, JP, you played football.
Something would have felt to somebody, I know.
See, if you wear them down and wear down and you keep at it, eventually it's going to derail. It's the same thing as like Abada, Forrest, Jota playing, no disrespect, if it was Rafe Rovers or Broth, if you keep owning that guy for 90 minutes, eventually he's going to derail. He's going to blow out. So these things, they take its toll on the players and on the game. But like you say, mate, it's always going to be as well. The media will always get a story, and it's not for each Celtic. Celtic struggled against Livingston. They didn't struggle. They just couldn't put the ball in the net. It's a big difference. Struggling, you know what I mean?
What showed you there, Ryan, just as what you just said there, mate, with the Ross County game? The actual paper online. Celtic struggle with 10 men at Dingwall. They're again finished to 2-1 to Celtic. But they had already been that premature. They thought the game was finishing.
I remember that.
They thought the game was finishing 1 each.
And they posted it about 3 minutes before the kick-off. The kick-off was finished.
They posted it 3 minutes before the 90 minutes. Well, sorry, the 99 minutes was up.
But yeah, we have to think that there's some sort of bias.
I know. I mean, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. If Celtic do well, in my opinion, Celtic won the cup, and there was about that much media coverage. It was minute. See what was all about won the cup.
Yep.
We'd still be hearing about it now.
Yep. We're still hearing about 50. We're still hearing about 55, mate. Didn't happen.
I know. It didn't happen because somebody can't count. And you know, they're making numbers up as they go along to suit ourselves, and you know, fabrications in their own minds and heads and stuff. But as I say, it is what it is, and the evidence is what you're saying there. The evidence is there to see. You know, when Celtic do well, they don't get enough credit for, you know, what they do, and when Celtic are not doing too well, you know, the Irons are hot, and they're ready to strike, and they're absolutely hounded for it.
The thing is, like you're saying there, mate, I stick by you for what I say. When it comes to, we won 4 trebles in a row. How many trophies in a row? Cup finals in a row. I think within 2 Champions League group stages within, was it 8 year, 10 year, whatever. We have had, especially when it comes to winning trophies in the domestic cups, we've had no lot of credit. I don't care what anybody says for what we have done for Scottish football the last 8 to 10 years, take away last year. It's phenomenal. You've got to beat what's in front of you. But winning leagues and trophies, as Rangers proved last season, they won 1 league. Brilliant, fair enough, it's up to 10. fair crack to you, we were shit, you were much better than us. Take heart after you've got to be a winner and a loser, but you've got to congratulate your counterparts to beat you fair and square. Fair enough. But they didn't win any trophies where they basically had them at their disposal. But yeah, when we won a treble, it's easy to win a treble in Scotland. Aye, 1-1. Martin O'Neill won one treble, I think it was, wasn't it? And look at the team he had, and he only won one. Now we've won 4. Fucking 4. No one.
On a bounce.
On the fucking bounce.
And one of the cup finals for that 4 had got postponed to the following year, sort of thing, because of COVID.
And considering we were last year and we still won it, considering the state we were in, granted, Hearts done a good game against us, but you've won 4 and there was no big spreadsheet in the paper, there was no spreadsheets in the media, there was no big interviews, there was no big... We get one of our trophy sessions get cancelled. Why did they get cancelled? Because they couldn't handle Celtic winning trophies. It's a simple fact as well. We all know why that was, why the allocation was cut. I know we're going to have to review here, but I think it's good because it's something I'm really, again, it's something I'm big on, is we don't get enough credit. As he says, we went to Leverkusen, talking about back to the review on the Leverkusen on the European side of things. Technically, we would have qualified in most every other group by the points total, by 9 points. But 9 points, right? Rangers get 8, I'm sure, and they qualified in a lesser group than us. Ferencváros, sticky team. Granted, we should have won. We won the 2 games, which is fair enough. But Leverkusen and Betis at the time, Betis were third on the table or something. Leverkusen were third. 2 of them are top quality teams. They've got quality players. We're away to Leverkusen. Hindsight should have won the game, but we didn't. But great performance at Betis. We lost the game. I know people, as you mentioned, people don't see the performance of the game. You think 4-2 or 4-3, whatever it was. They must have get pumped. Fucking 4 goals away from home. Fucking come on, do you know what I mean? But when you actually look at the performance individually, Ferencváros, comfortable in the 2 games. Leverkusen, as you say, JP, the goalkeeper get man of the match. That tells you everything you need to know.
At Celtic Park,
Celtic Park, Betis, they're 2-0 up. Game management's a bit better, and you see that game out, you miss chances. So I know we didn't qualify. We're still in Europe anyway for the conference. But you've got to take positivity for the sense that you've gone to these 2 teams and you're taking the game to them, and you're playing well, and you're keeping the ball, and you're making these teams work. You make Leverkusen and Betis work for the victories. But in the past, when you played teams like Aalborg and Copenhagen and Molde, fucking Malmo, these teams have
threw the games away.
Pumped you. They've absolutely bossed you. But we've went and changed our system in a way that Ange just went, you know what? No, we're going toe-to-toe, but we're going toe-to-toe with a slight leverage where we need to defend. With Rodgers, he was playing 2 wingers in the Nou Camp and PSG. You can't do that in football against these teams. But I'm confident more now with Ange in Europe than I would be under... I know we're done well with Lille and Lazio, but we're no really classes, I would say. We're no whipping boys of Europe anymore. We're not going to Leverkusen. I'm going to lie, I did expect to get a horse. I was expecting us to get beat 3 or 4-0. I was going there thinking, don't get an early goal. But we've done really well. And I think on the flip side of the European campaign so far, I know we didn't qualify for Europe, the group stages, but where we came from and the squad we had at the time, should have done enough, but we didn't. That was, again, the board, again, Beaton at centre-back and Dave Murray at centre-back, whatever else, it just didn't work out. But for where we are now, I want to say it's too negative. You've got to be negative because you've not qualified for the big competition. But on performance-wise, I want to say it's too negative.
No, it kind of sticks in your throat a wee bit then, for me anyway, it does, because you're looking at it and you're going, are they laughing at us? You know, they think it's an achievement getting through a group with 8 points. I think they've done really well. But again, they're that stupid, mate. They don't analyse, you know, what actually happened. And if you look at our performances, if we had their group, I don't mean this to sound big-headed or anything.
On performance-wise, with a qualified.
The way we played in our group, taking the game to teams, mate, I think we would have beat Prague, Lyon and Brøndby quite comfortably, mate. I watched the Lyon game when they played at Ibrox. They played better than Rangers that night, but had they been at Parkhead that night and no Ibrox, I think we could have beat them. I really do. I think we, you know, and that people might look at us and go, he's talking a load of rubbish. And fair dues, that's fine. That's my opinion. I've watched us take the game to Leverkusen twice. I watched us take the game to Betis twice. And by the way, one of the games against Betis was with our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran amok that night. They played really, really well.
Against a very good Betis team. And people are saying, but that wasn't their full team. There was 3 players missing for our first team that would have played against us there in Spain. You still had that guy, no? Yeah, I know he's 41 or 40, Joaquin. He's superb, man.
He's cracking.
Sees the deliveries at the box. Fucking fighting.
Aye. And they still had that other big boy up front, the big boy in Glazier, Sam scored against us there in Spain.
Very, very good player.
So, as I say, people say what they want, but I think we would have romped their group against Lyon, Prague and Brøndby. Had they got our group, don't know if they would have got 8 points out of that, mate.
I think realistically, you'd have been hoping to finish, if we get their group, if you finish second to Lyon, you'd have took it. But let's be honest, see, but Lyon end up, they're 10th or something in the French League, you know. They're no Lyon, but they were, at the start of the season when they played Rangers, they were 4th or 3rd.
And they couldn't beat them twice. They never beat them twice. The 2 attempts they took and couldn't beat them. And
I know, like you say, people say, I beat you beat our Leverkusen twice. Yes, we did, and we know that, and we understand that. But
Leverkusen are a far better team than Lyon.
Better team Lyon. And look at the performances. I know we get beat 4-0 at Parkhead, right? As you say, if you look at that retrospectively, you're thinking that's a pumping. Scoreline wise, it was a doing. We know that as a club. But if you look at individual performances, we played all right. It wasn't a full nothing game. As you say, the goalkeeper was man of the match. That game, I watched the Lyon Rangers game. Lyon were actually really good that night and they gave Rangers a doing. Rangers couldn't get anywhere near them. And like you say, you've got to look at the perspectives for your side. I'd have fancied myself beating Brøndby and Sparta Prague.
Definitely.
I know they beat us
last season, but we're a different side to then, to now, to what we were then, in my opinion. We better quality in my team. We had good quality, don't get me wrong, we had good quality in my team last season. But we know, we can all know, we all understand what could have been going on behind the scenes, and players down in tools and players not wanting to be there, and it all probably, I don't doubt it all affected that dressing room at one time or another. Even McGregor looked totally done and deflated, and they were going out thinking, and as I said before, they were going out half the time and we're not getting the result here. You could just tell what us as fans were kind of like, which Celtic team's turning up here, do you know what I mean? And you're looking at the games going, I don't think we're going to get a result here at all. Definitely no, but as I say, mate, we're a different team now to what we were then. And I personally think if you swap the groups about, we would have probably won that section that they were in. And would they get 9 points in the section now we've got in to qualify to drop into the Europa Conference? I'm not so sure, but because I don't personally think they've done that well in Europe, albeit that they've qualified for it. But as I say, mate, they're that fickle. They just see the fact that they've qualified and they think they've done something better than what we have. They've managed to get through to the next round of that competition. We have dropped out of that competition into the one that's below it. And somehow that makes them a much better team than us.
On retrospectively, qualified, they've done better than us. In that sense, fair enough. We understand that. But performance-wise, there's really only 1 or 2 games this season where I thought we've been honking. And I would say it was St Mirren in the game at the Tony Macaroni Stadium, Livingston, the start of the season. they're only 2 games. Again, if you've any other game you thought were really poor, mate, but I thought they were only 2. I mean, stinking games where I knew the result wasn't happening. After 10, 15 minutes with St Mirren, you're thinking this is going to be a tough game with it, just because of the team we had it. But I still believe that the Aberdeen game was a big turning point for us. It's a massive game, and again, mate, media pressure. There was a lot of pressure on us that game, and Jota and Kyogo, man. I'm a big fan of this guy, Jota, mate. If I is 6.5 million, which we've heard is the release clause, mate, I would even give him fucking 8 just to fucking make sure. Because the guy is honestly, mate, the guy is phenomenal. Rangers fans talking about Ryan Kent. Listen, Ryan Kent couldn't fucking lace Jota's boots. This guy is Barney Portugal's next best thing, supposedly. Again, I know these things get labelled about this guy's in next this and next this, and they always some of these guys they fail. This guy's got the makings to be a top player, and again, he's a lone player, so you're not wanting to get attached to him. Like we have, somebody's got attached to Elanusse, somebody's got attached to other guys, and but he's got everything. He's got pace, he's powerful, he's strong, he can finish. He's getting better at tracking back now. We've spoken about when he first came in. He was tracking back, but now he's tracking back, and
that was how he got injured.
I'm not saying he's only was it 20, 21, roughly like that. He's no maybe on there a complete article, but I tell you what, mate, he's on the upper cover. I'm not saying he's better than Celtic, but I think he's obviously using us as a stepping stone to get games. Maybe stay here, maybe if he signs for another year or two, get us money, get him a better deal, which is football these days. When again, this is where some fans need to realise as well that just because you play with Celtic doesn't mean they're going to be here all the time. Football's a business. Similar to Edouard, it was his time to go. He's got to 17 whatever million. But big man, you've done as well. Good luck. And I think maybe the same with him. He might come and play for another year or two, get his 15 million, and then we're cheerio. But again, he's a big plus for us getting fit because we need him for the rest of the season.
I agree with you, mate. I think in terms of Jota, I made a big call a couple of months ago. I made a big call about him. I actually think he's getting more to his game now, and more tools.
He's very intelligent.
Aye, but I think what I was saying is everybody's all right and raving about Kyogo, right?
Yeah.
I think the wee man has got more, could maybe go higher than Kyogo. Because I think when Jota, like Kyogo's 26, right? Jota's only 21. I think when Jota's 26, if he stays injury-free and everything goes well for him, I think Jota will be more a complete player. He's got more. What I'm trying to say is I think he's got more in his locker than Kyogo has. But again, people might be going like that. You're talking one load of.
No, I get you because they're different players in a sense, but I get you. I get what you're saying because he's stronger than Kyogo, but looking, you can see that.
We think like Kyogo, Jota. We think they two are big game players for us, you know. I think Jota is going to be
the main man.
He's going to be the go-to. He's going to be the one that pulls you out a hole, whether it be scores or he sets up one of them. He's going to be like a Rogic. These kind of guys, Ryan, can dig you out a hole, mate, when things maybe aren't going that well for you. See when maybe you're one each, it's going to the 85th minute, you've not got that result, you've maybe, you're not quite there. Boom, before you know it, he's set up a goal or he's scored a goal and you're 2-3-1 up. That's the difference. That's what these guys bring to the fort. They bring quality. And that's the difference. Kyogo, people are going like that. He wasn't really in the game in the cup final. What have he done? That's what these guys do, mate. They bring quality. They bring the difference in the sport. That's what these guys take on their shoulders. And they become the mainstays in the team. They become the main men of the team. We've had it through the years, mate. You look at Larson, your Moravciks, your Suttons, your Hartsons, Alan Thompson, Nakamura, Venagura, Hesselink, Scott McDonald, Di Canio, Cadet. These guys all became the focal points of the team people don't look at other boys in the team that are doing well, like your McNamara's and your Tosh McKinley's and, you know, other boys that, for me, were quality. But it's because these guys score the goals. And that's what I keep saying, mate. Strikers and forwards are worth their weight in goals, mate.
Oh, definitely.
Because they get you goals. They get you goals. They get you important goals, first and foremost. They become big players with their character, their personality, and how they approach football. And they develop that skill and harness it so that they become elite in your team.
Aye, but see, you talk about, obviously, I was a forward myself, mate, and you're always judged on your goals. Doesn't matter how good you're after ball or like not play, you're always judged on your goals. And again, Jota's been a striker, and I'm sure, is it Abada, Jota and Kyogo, is it 55?
They've contributed to 55 goals this season, whether it be goals scored or assists.
And that's a real 55 number we've got here.
Aye, that's not made up. That's not something that we've just
fucked out there. Like
harnessed out the universe for somewhere.
It's not 500 fans either, Jason Leach, mate.
No.
Just a random number.
No, it's not just, it's not that. By the way, there was no science involved there when we got that number either.
Nah, but that again, mate, we'll touch on that as well. But they three, mate, are big time on what we need to do. They three are fit. We are total different animal. It doesn't matter. I know we can talk about the back line. Big Vickers has been solid signing. I know we try to buy him, but I suppose are very hard to deal with. Levy's a smart man. He won't let him go for nothing. Again, if we can get him permanently, mate, I think he's a big plus. I think he's definitely a top 10 Premier League centre back. He's strong. He's very, very quick. He's intelligent. You can see he's no a mug.
Just reminds me of Denier, Ryan, when we had him under Delia. Just a total steady, solid defender.
No, I agree, mate.
Never did a bad game for Celtic Denier. He never put in a bad performance. Albeit he was playing beside Virgil and Big Van Dijk at the time. But for me, he's that type of player. He just, he's just steady. You're always going to get the same off him. He's going to be solid. He's going to be hard to get by you're an attacker. He's a defender, and he just does a simple thing when he's got the ball. Doesn't he try anything or I don't know about you, Ryan. I've watched the last few games that he's playing Starfelt. Is it just me, or is he becoming a bit more confident now? Because he seems to be drifting out with the ball a bit more now.
Aye, I would say so.
He done a wee turn yesterday away for is it Ogum Poggi or something? His name as a boy played out wide for St Johnson.
He got me deadlocks.
Dreadlocks, aye. And he was kind of charging at him. I would say and just went through him.
I would try his name, mate, but I don't know his name.
No, I think his name's Samuel Ogum Poggi or something like that. Samuel something. But and he just done a wee turn, and by the way, he turned the speed or not. He just took himself away from the big boy, and I thought, oh, that's. And I seen him doing it against Fenwick Varos as well at Celtic Park.
Yeah.
I don't think the one at Parkhead, I don't think he meant to do it. It was one of the ones. In my opinion, Starfelt's a much better player when he's reactive to something rather than lots of time to think about it. Aye. But the one at Parkhead, but that's the last few games I've seen him now, and he's been drifting out. He done it against Ross County as well. He's drifting out with the ball. I'm talking about before he was sent off. He's drifting out with the ball. And I thought to myself, he's becoming more confident now, as if, maybe obviously that's been worked on in training with him. Look, you're going to need to maybe promote you because we've seen you doing this before. This is what we want you to do. This is, we want you out, we want you. And it's kind of good to see because Big Vickers isn't that type of defender. Carter Vickers, he's not that type of defender. He just wants to, he'll just stop everything that comes near him. He wins a lot in the air. And he's a big presence. He's a big boy, My only thing that, I'm not even criticising, is for me, they don't go on enough on the opposite end when we've got corners and set pieces.
Aye.
They need to start finding a way to, they're big lads, and they need to start finding a way to go on. Like say Big Julian. Julian will score 10, 11, 12 goals a season now because of how good he is in the air. That's the difference with Big Julian. Even that was a criticism I had of Big Aya for a big boy. He never he wasn't a big threat in the opposite box because he, you know, a lot of Irish players on the deck. And for me, Big Julian's you know, by the way, many goals have we seen him score this week now?
Mate, he's again, that's another guy. Well, no, he plays for Celtic again. I don't know, mate. I hope he does. I hope he comes back for injury very soon because he is a big. I still say I know people are talking about how good Vickers is. I think Julian's brilliant. We all say that he got Lyndon Dykes. He's moved to QPR. He had 2 bad games against him at the Astro. Apart from that, he's been relatively all right for us. I like him again. I hope he can come back in and play. But I've just got a sticky feeling in my mind that after this season he'll be away. I've just got it in the back of my head. There's no fair knowing anything. I don't know nothing. It's just my assumption that I just feel that I think maybe it's just maybe somebody else to go for this season. I just think maybe he's not that I wanted to be his time up. I'm just getting the just that he might not be back fit maybe than what we need him for. And I think maybe the board might go, listen, if this is going to happen again, maybe similar to Big Jojo, we need to let him go. I still don't know why they let him go. I thought Jojo was very decent with the ball.
Aye.
I know he made a few howlers. All players do that. But I thought Jojo was actually decent. And like I've said as well, he was very close to going to Torino in Italy. And Italians, like you know, mate, they're very big on defending. They very rarely do they pay money for a defender who's shit. So they must have seen something in Jojo to sign him. And again, it was £5 million. So we're really getting the money back from. Again, I do believe that was a board cop out that let him go last season. I don't think that was a decision from Lennon. I do personally believe, again, no info, just my assumption. I think that was to do with the board because he was injured, and they probably thought, why are we paying this guy? He probably took in a week to only play 20 games a season. I might be wrong, but at least with Vickers and Starfelt, we've got 2 guys who roughly will play week in, week out, so you're getting the value of a Starfelt who wasn't, again, he wasn't £1 million, mate. He was like 4.5, 3 million. So,
I think it was like £4 million. I think it was Raban Kazan.
So you're paying good money as well for him, and you can see on a review of him, shaky start, he's come on his own a wee bit, shaky game against a wee bit of shakiness against St Johnstone, but again, you don't want to criticise him, considering we're down to bare bones. To a certain degree, we're no anywhere near where we want to be at squad level, but I'm like you, mate. I generally believe that come the 2nd of February, even come the 17th of January, when we play Hibs, we'll be a different animal.
Aye, me too. I think you've just touched on it there with the 2 defenders. I actually think if Big Julian is going to be, as you said, out the door, and it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Because a while ago, you're hearing and saying, you know, a couple of weeks' time, maybe after international break,
we don't actually get.
And then all of a sudden,
we've only told a lot about. I didn't know what he's done.
No,
I don't know the full injury he's done. I don't know.
I know
it's his knee. I know it's his knee, but I don't know the full concept. I think
it was his ACL, mate. I think I read somewhere it was his.
Well, I can understand then.
Cruciate ligament.
If it's his ACL, mate, I can understand why he's been out for so long because. Fuck's sake, I done my PCL, mate, and I've not kicked the ball for a year. I'm done. But I know I'm not playing at that level. So your ACL, your cruciates I know these injuries can come back quicker now because of technology and obviously the operations are quicker now and the rehab's better and whatever else. But his ACLs as a dodge injury. I had a conversation with Robert today actually about injuries with Julian and why short the Eagles, mate? It's very hard to come back to the level.
You were that.
You were that. Van Dijk's still playing at a high level, and he's done amazing to come back to his ACL. But I hope he can play again. Cause I like your big guy, and I think £7 million for pay from. When he say it's a bargain, but I would say it's a good bit of business for a club that we got him in for that price because, as you say, some of the important goals he's brought in for us, I would say he's paid that back in his goals.
Definitely. I mean, it's his character and all, and it's not just the goal. It's what he is in the dressing room.
I would say he's a leader. I would say.
He is a leader, mate, because I was shouting about people are saying about Bruni leaving and all that, and I was going like, you know, who could the next captain be? I was touting the big man for. I know we've not really had many foreigner captains. You know, there's no money. You look at all our great captains are all Scottish. So, but he was the first name that came to me in terms of who would be the next leader. I'll be honest with you, mate, and I didn't see it in McGregor to begin with.
I didn't either, mate. I didn't.
I saw it maybe at the tail end of last season, around at the beginning of last season. But before that, I couldn't see it in McGregor. And people were shouting about it. Oh, he's a future Celtic captain, and I'm going, I don't think he's got it. You know.
Aye.
And I had my hands up now. I got it totally wrong, and he's proved me wrong now. And you just see him now run about the place, and unbelievable the transformation in him as well. But Big Julian was the first one I was shouting for captaincy. For when Bruni, people are going on, no. When a player like that leaves, it's like, oh no, what's going to happen now? Remember with Larson, everybody was all greeting and oh no, what's going to happen now? There's always somebody else comes along, mate, and like I say, the club stays where it is. Other players will come and go.
I think as well, it's good. It's a good point you make there as well. But obviously, there's always going to be somebody. But especially up front, we always have good strikers. We've always got one or two top draw strikers. You had your Larsons, your Sutton, your Hartsons. After that, you had your Hesselinks, your McDonald's. McDonald was good for us as much as me. Scored that goal against us.
I think Jarafsky got a few goals.
Jarafsky's first season was very decent, I thought. And then after that, you've obviously Dembele's, your Griffiths, Sinclairs can play up front. You've got a lot of guys. You've got Hooper, Stokes, Commons. We've always had good attacking players. It's kind of always been the last few years. It's been your defence. It's kind of like, you know, a wee bit, especially Europe. But going forward, mate, we've never had any issue. We've not had an issue. It's mainly the back line. It's recently past O'Neill. It's always caused you a bit of trouble, especially in Europe. Got to teams like fucking like Bratislava and you beat 5-0. That wouldn't happen now.
No, even when it did happen, it was a sort of fluke. It was again Strachan and just come in. It was one of his first games in charge of Celtic proper. And again, I think that was a massive rebuild for him and all, because a lot of the other players were all leaving, and you know, O'Neill's team was all becoming more depleted. And I think he only had Big Carson, Sutton, and Thompson left. I think everybody else had all sort of went their own sort of way.
He was trying to weed all the old guys out, wasn't he?
And he was trying to weed them out the door as well, as bring in his like your Boric's and your Nakamuras and Paul Telfors and Mo Kamaras and
Mo Kamara.
Unbelievable, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they talk about left backs. We're sitting here slagging Greg Taylor, man. Mo Kamara was never near Greg Taylor level. So Greg, mate, I'll give your due, mate. You're far better than Mo Kamara. I'm not saying that's a big deal to be proud of, Greg, but I'll give you that, mate.
But then he made a step up with Strachan, didn't he, when he signed Naylor? He had a great start with Celtic.
Mate, I thought Naylor was decent. And then obviously under Mowbray and all, you had Danny Fox, who I thought was all right as well.
It was all right. It was all right. It was only lasted 6 months.
Then he got sold to Southampton. It was a weird one, wasn't it? How he got sold?
I think what had happened was, I think he was. I heard he was homesick. He just couldn't settle up here, mate. I think he had a go at it, and it just wasn't happening. I think there was a few things. Maybe I heard he was being excluded and all that for the team, and things just weren't going good for the beginning.
That's the thing as well that we spoke about a few weeks ago as well. You've got to have a mentality to play up here. Obviously, some guys are homesick and some guys don't settle, but again, is that due to the mentality where I can't play this club? I can't stay this. I can't stay with all this about that. Walk down the street and not knowing if you're going to get a punch in the face, you're going to get a kiss in the cheek. That's the way Glasgow is, and it's the same. It's the same as me. If me and you walk about the town, which I would never do, I'd never walk about Glasgow unless I was going to a game with a Celtic tackle, mate. I'd never do it. You don't know where you're going to get looked at Prowlers or looked at I'm Celtic. You don't know where you're going to get.
No, exactly. Of course.
So if that's for us, what about the scene, about the streets? What is it like for a fucking top player in Scotland?
Yeah.
And I can see why they wouldn't want to go about Glasgow, because that's a fucking goldfish bowl, isn't it? And again, but I think...
I mean, that's why Paul Lambert's done and says before as well. He never managed up, he'd never managed Celtic because...
But let's be fair, as much as he was a legend at Celtic, in my eyes, he was a legend, he was a very, 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 very top player. I don't think he would ever be good enough to get the Celtic job. Now, anyway.
No.
But I think in general, he was talking about in general.
Just in general. I think when things were going well for him, when he got the Norwich job and stuff, when he was a Colchester manager, and you know, things were kind of going really well for him then, and it worked out well. And then I think it was then he was asked about taking the Celtic job because I think he was linked to his.
He says no, didn't he?
He just says no, point blank. He refused. He just went, no, I wouldn't because of the goldfish bowl up there, and that's what he called it, the goldfish bowl. I think one of the biggest regrets one of the ones that kind of gets to me a wee bit is obviously the circumstances when about it was a shame. El Hamid, I thought he was brilliant, man.
Yeah,
and it was the wrong timing, mate, of COVID, and his wee boy and his missus had to go back to Israel, and it was just a shame because, but I'll give back, by the way, give back beat on his due. He tried, mate. He tried to help him. He tried to settle him. He tried to, you know, he was here himself. As far as I know, he was living in a hotel. He didn't even have a housemate. So if you can imagine having to get up every morning, go to training, you're finishing training.
Staying in a hotel room.
Wake you up to the night, nothing, mate. I'm in a hotel. How hard must that have been for him, mate? And he done that for. Was he here? He was here a season? Was he here a season?
A year and a bit, I would say.
A year and a bit. And it was a total shame. But, mate, what a player he was. I don't care what anybody says, mate. I thought he was absolutely unbelievable.
He's the game that at Ibrox, it was phenomenal.
Aye.
Having Bolingoli.
Absolutely superb, man.
Big Julian and all, they were superb that game.
Aye, they were superb. I just thought he was a brilliant player. And any time I see him playing with Israel, he's like Big Beaton. He's a standout for me. And that Israeli team. I just thought it was a total shame. I'd like to have seen him working with a manager like Ange.
But that just shows as well, mate, how...
What a grocery a boy he was.
It just shows as well, mate, how COVID, and not just Celtic, but did impact all these teams. Mate, there's no coincidence, right? I'm not saying we lost the league through COVID, right? But most of the previous winners for the season before the leagues all lost the leagues.
Liverpool and all, they fell apart.
Liverpool, PSG nearly lost the league. PSG nearly fell apart. In fact,
they did lose the league, didn't they? We won the league.
PSG lost it. We lost it. Liverpool lost it. Bayern Munich had a shaky bit of the season as well. So there's no people can say what they want. There's no coincidence that it affected every top team that won the leagues beforehand, because it's evident, it's facts. It shows you. You can't go. I don't care what anybody says. We can't go, or PSG can't go for winning the league for 10 points or 15 points to then lose it for 25 points for no reason whatsoever, because it's the same players. It's the same formation. It's the same style. Rangers didn't improve markedly. I would say they improved players-wise ability. Maybe they get better, but we just it's the same as it. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the new fans thing. There'll be no coincidence as well if our levels that with no fans. It's just that I will, and I like to think that fans need to be prepared for this, prepared for maybe a bad end of the season, because if there's no fans, we're no Celtic as we know Celtic with 60,000 fans. It's a massive
things will be different, no, Ryan. I do think things will be different.
I hope so. But I'm just trying to a balance you. I'm thinking fans just be prepared for no getting what we want with it, because
I agree.
We don't know what the government are going to put us out, mate, right? I'm not saying they're anti-Celtic or anti-Scottish football. I'm not saying, and we just don't know what's going to come out tomorrow, what's going to come out the 1st of January, the 3rd. We don't know nothing. So I'm just preparing myself for the worst. I'm preparing myself for, here we go again. We've got from that to that. No fans, and then you're basically playing training games under league conditions. Like Anne says, JP, I think we all agree what he says to the journalist. Look, mate, if you think this is football, you can run up a bit of a hole, because this can't happen. Not because of injuries or COVID or whatever else. this is football, and us two guys here and other Celtic fans, we should be at the games. We shouldn't be watching it. You paid your book. You should be at the game. You shouldn't be watching it for a crowd. I know it's a health reason, but we're on this platform podcast talking as a football fan. And
well, the thing is, Ryan, like, they've jagged us all 3 times now. To have the first jag done because it was unsafe not to have it done. Right, so the jag is a second time because this will help by if you get, it will reduce the risk of you possibly going into hospital. So this will be better for you, for your immune system to be double boosted. Then they've come up with a booster to combat variants that could potentially make you ill. So they've sent us off for 3 jags. Then we're back to square one again.
For fuck all. Basically, that's the way it looks.
They tell us to get into football, you need to have a vaccination passport. Do you think of the thousands of people that went away and have downloaded their passports, they've done this, they've done that, they've done everything they need to do. People wear masks, they do everything they need to do. And we're back to square one again. We're back to 1 metre distances. The supermarkets are back to fucking, letting you one way in, one way out again. We're back to square one again. We've done nothing. We're nearly 20 odd months down the line, and we've went nowhere now. We're back to where we were at the beginning. Well, we're not, because shops are still open, okay. But table service now and hospitality, and then 3 days after they make the announcement of what's going to happen, the Scottish League then have a vote with all our teams about what to do with the winter break. They then announce, Omicron variant's less prominent, and you've got less. You're less likely now. You're less likely now to end up in hospital.
So why are you cutting the fans in?
What the hell, man? Like, it's one.
I could understand. See if they cut it to like maybe 25,000 fans, I would go, right, you know what? They're still fans. We might need to get a wee bar, or we might need to put up it. Fair enough. But it's basically no fans. 500 fans is no fans. There's no noise coming out it. There's nothing. It's boring. Again, I'm only talking about this as a football side. I understand the severity of the situation and the health reasons behind it and whatever else. I understand that. But take away that, and for a football fan, how can you have no fans, but me and you can walk about and do Christmas shopping, or we can go and do New Year's shopping for steak pies or whatever? Where, as you say, where they're thinking you're daft, but they're thinking that we can just go, no bother, we'll do that again. No, I'm sorry, no anymore.
No, we're fed up with it, mate. We're absolutely sick and tired, mate.
But as football fans, I'm fed up with it as well, because, like you says, I understand you paid your book, maybe knowing that things like this might happen again. But why, like you says, the 24th or 23rd, 26th, everything's fine for fans, but the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, no? How? What's it? See if they come out with a plausible reason why, then we'll go, do you know what? Right, okay, 3 weeks, no fans, right, okay, no bother, we'll take it to chin, 3 weeks' time, hopefully get fans in. No bother at all. Maybe you took it with a pinch of salt to a certain degree, but when there's no explanation, when Jason Leeds, this is a guy who's getting very well. I'm not wanting to just criticise him here. He's getting paid very, very well. Intelligent guy, years of experience to get to where he is. 500 fans. Why? Don't know. We just fought 500 fans. Thanks a lot, mate. We'll see if we have done. People have sacrificed their life, whatever else. You've just basically back to you, fuck yous. That's the way it seems to me, mate. 500 fans. Why not 501, 505, 530?
No, you've just come out with that number. And then he says it's not a science thing,
but that's what I'm saying.
It's just a number that was plucked up because you've got to cap it somewhere.
So how can the SFA trust the government? How can we trust the government? How can anybody trust anybody with what they say anymore? How can you just pocket a number and go, do you know what? It's like we don't want football. We'll just put it in the back burner for 3 weeks. That's the way it seems to me, that they don't want football on. That's what they. And again, we've spoken about it. They says that Celtic Hibs was a super spreader. What about Ibrox? What about all the junior games, the amateur games, all the other games on the Saturday and Sunday. But yet, weirdly downfall, it's Celtic.
And see if it was that big a thing, right? I'm not being nothing, mate. Why let the cup final go ahead the way it did? Why no limit the fans to that as well? Why let that go ahead and then decide, oh, by the way, see after Boxing Day? Because, like, effectively, St Mirren had a full house. They had a full house because the Celtic fans all travelled to it.
Aye.
But 3 days' time, 500 fans on. Where the hell? Where are you getting this from?
Mate, it's that bad, mate. You can actually sit and do a review on this.
These guys get paid a lot of money. I know. These guys get paid a lot of money to sit in an office to come up with this nonsense.
But mate, I generally think it's the data isn't data, mate. They're just making up now. It's just, in a football sense, there's no evidence. We've been going to games for when now, end of August, start of September, roughly, give or take.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
And I've not heard much of people having it for the football.
Neither have I.
It's maybe after the games on the buses or on the snow at the games. I've never felt that I was unsafe or I've never felt in danger of football. I'm not gonna lie, mate. I've basically forgot about this in a way. I
kind of did myself in a way because we were back to normal. We were back to games, full houses. Then the players won the you know, they weren't sitting in the stand anymore. They were all back in the dugouts again. The stadiums were full.
So we went back for shaky horns to going, all right, mate, I can't sit next to the football, but I can go but I can sit in the pub with you.
When the team score, I can't jump with you, but I can fist pump you.
Crazy, mate, but I want a more positive thing the last bit, mate. Obviously, January, hopefully we'll get new signs in and the injuries will obviously clear up, but what's your overall kind of perspective, mate, of the season so far and hopefully get into January?
Aye, well, my only overall viewing of the season so far, mate, is the downside is we're still second in the league and we're 6 points behind. I'd like to have seen that maybe overturned. Maybe that's caused by, as I said earlier, dropping so many silly points that I think, you know, we should be picking up quite easily. But usually the ones that you're expected to, you know, go and blutter are the ones that kind of like you doing as well. But overall, you've got to say it's positive. For a year, as I say, for a year ago to now, this is night and day for what we're used to. We're still a brand new, you know, team in developing mode. Still in a massive rebuild. You could look at it. We've got a trophy, so we're only team in the league to have a trophy now. But the January window is going to be key. I do full-heartedly think there will be reinforcements. I know he's not come out as such, but Michael Nicholson, he was appointed our full-time CEO a few days ago. And
again, even on that, mate, I generally don't know much about him, but I just think it's another yes man decision. I know Ange might have had a contribution to obviously a part of it, but I think the full thing that we were obviously as fans were hoping for was a full rebuild, a full nobody who's been with Celtic before. But again, is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing having somebody that knows the club, or is it a bad thing because it's the same kind of regime in a way?
I think you've got to look at it in a terms, Ryan, of it's got to be comfortable for Ange. Because he, regardless of who's there, if it was Dermot Desmond that was a CEO or Alex Ferguson or Klopp or anybody at all.
Who's that? Dermot who?
Aye. Peter Brady. Scarlet Pimpernel. It's never normally there. He's always on a golf course.
Big Cal Piblington.
Aye, that's exactly that, mate. Aye. But no, isn't the type of guy who's going to take any nonsense. And I think whoever comes into that role is going to quickly learn that. You can see that in his interviews as well when the media start trying to, not undermine him, but they start trying to, he knows what they're trying to do and he just shuts it down straight away. In terms of, they're trying to be cheeky, but they're not doing it so many ways, and he just, no, I'm not having that. Sorry, it's not happening. And I do think that he would be like that in, you know, in board meetings. And I think I've heard Michael Nicholson speak when the AGM came up and he done a wee interview with Jeremy Culloch. They were sitting in the studio and he spoke very well then. I know these guys all say things, people say it's scripted and blah, blah, blah.
Big words.
But in terms of the sincerity, you know, and it was all about Ange. He made it all about Ange. So there was certainly sincerity there. And if we're led to believe that the rumours are true about the boys for Japan, there's 3 signings straight away that we know. Could be 1 or 2 more. I'd imagine there will be exits as well. There'll be 1 or 2 leaving, whether that be out loan or permanently. But I do think there'll be it might be a busy January window in terms of trying to get other players, because it's vital, mate. Because obviously then when the season finishes, you've got a quick turnaround again to go again. So you've got, whether it be you're right into the Champions League or you've got Champions League qualifiers, you're right back. You know, you're right back into it all again very quickly, no long after the season finishes. And if we don't win the league, I know Celtic fans aren't going to want to hear this, but if we don't win the league, but we've won the cup, we managed to beat them a couple of times, and then the league margin isn't the 25 points it was last season, and we possibly won a Scottish Cup. And I think Angel, you know, I do think the fans will still love him enough to give him next season.
I think no matter what happens, mate, I don't think he'll lose his job.
No, I don't either.
I don't think so, mate. I know there will be, you'll get the odd fans who just think because of lost the league he's got to be sacked. Ideally, because we need to win the league, but obviously we want to win the league. The main reason is obviously win the league, but to get obviously the big pot of gold and get into the group stages. But you can still qualify for that. It's still the be all. Obviously, it's the be all and end all financially, but we can still qualify for the finish second. But we need to win the league. I know but I'm agreeing with you, mate. If he says at the start of the season, you might be 1 point away. You've won the 2 domestic cups. You've maybe got to the quarter final of the conference or whatever. Compared to last season, we won fuck all and done nothing. It's progress. And next year, you'd expect to then, if you don't win basically everything, then you'll be away. But I do agree. I do think
what's imperative, Ryan, is I do think this next game on the 2nd of February.
Oh, you've got to win. We've got to win.
I do think we need to win it. I do think, regardless of what happens, I think that's they need to get that monkey off the back. I know, because we're going to be run now where we've not managed to beat them in about 8 games now or something like that, 7, 8 games. And I think once they get that monkey off their back, I think a bit like you says earlier on as well, with the Aberdeen game being a turning point. I think you could possibly see that being a fucking turning point of the season.
I always
if
say
you won that, I think they might collapse.
I always say any Celtic Rangers game, just don't get beat. Just don't get beat. I would take a draw every day of the week. Obviously, you want to win, but just don't get beaten. I think as much as you want to win, see if it a draw and just.
Right now, in terms of the league, Ryan, I don't think you can afford to draw, mate. The league stays
I'm very confident still that we win the league. I still think we've got the manager there, we've got the players. We're going to get more players in January, but it sounds it. They're going to have another 3 weeks to bed in. 3 weeks we all needed break. Let's be fair, mate, because we've no stopped playing since fucking end of July, basically start of August. We've not really fucking stopped. So a new manager, and I'm like you, mate. I think we'll be a big different animal come the first game against Hibs after the restart. And
I think the injection of quality will help them, Ryan, as well. Not just, I think the 3 boys, especially for the J League, I think you're going with what I've seen, known evidence of what I've seen. I think you're inheriting 3 bits of quality to add to the pool that's already there, which brings then depth in terms of if one guy drops out, you've still got him there, and you know it's kind of like for like. Because Maeda, he looks frightening, mate.
Very no. Bear in mind, mate, Kyogo's quick.
And I'm talking about scary, and he looks a lot faster than the 2 of them.
Juranovic is quick, so you've got a pace in the team.
Abada's fast.
Forrest as well, still got a bit of nip about.
Yeah.
So,
you could possibly say, I don't know, Big Scales looks.
Ralston's maybe quick as well.
Aye, Ralston's fast. But this guy is lightning fast. I would even go as far as to say he looks faster than Kyogo. There are so many yards. I've seen some of his videos, mate, and half of the videos, his goals are coming for. He's giving guys a starty to the ball, and he's just bringing by them with speed. And it's all right saying, he's playing in the J. A lot of guys are under in the J League and say it's not. Mate, the J League would blow your league away.
Well, just look at Kyogo, tells you anything.
Nakamura. Albeit Koki Mizuno, he started really well. Yeah. Goal against Falkirk, and for whatever reason he just fell away. I don't know. Listen, I might be talking at my backside. These guys could come in here and they might not be like Kyogo. I don't want to put too much expectation on these boys either. You could look at it the opposite end and say one of them's already played with Leeds and he never managed to, he never caught it with him. So, but this could be a big turning point in the boys' career. They could come in here and could do what it done for Scott Sinclair.
Yep.
Sinclair was his career was kind of snowballing away down there. And all of a sudden Celtic just went bump and put them back on the map again. And sometimes you just need that, a wee bit of niche. And, Paddy Roberts has played his best football at Celtic. On any loan deals.
I'm probably on him, mate. I would still take him back in the free transfer. I would.
So would I.
I think he could come here and do a job. I think he could get his career back on track because let's be fair, he's went to Middlesbrough. That's not a team for him. They don't attack. They don't play attacking football. So
he was loved here and all right. I think he flourished here because the fans took to him. It's different at different clubs, Ryan. I think the Elyounoussi, all right, he's in a Southampton team now. He scored against West Ham there, but he was loved up here and all. The fans loved him. When the fans were in when he was here, you could see players like that thrive off of Celtic supporting it. I think players with natural quality like Jota and Kyogo and Mabada, and they'll thrive off of support. As you said, when the support's not there anymore, that noise isn't coming anymore. 1 or 2 games, they'll be flying, but then eventually, if it stumbles on, hopefully this Disney, hopefully this is just this break, and then before we know it, another announcement's made, and we're all going to start getting back into the football again. I hope that's the case because it's going to upset a lot of people if this is what their plan is. Because it's what I was saying as well, mate. I've got 2 young kids. I don't want them growing up thinking, is this going to happen every year?
It's a joke if it does, mate.
We're getting on a way through the year, and it's coming up to the festive season. Oh, hold on, we need to start shutting everything down again, and we need to start. Come on, man.
I need to hold on, put a mask on.
Aye.
I know, mate.
I just wanted to get to a point where we can just live a normal life. I know everybody's probably sitting going, aye, so they are. Half of the politicians are probably saying the exact same thing.
Well, let's be fair, man. They're all sitting having cheese and wine, not giving a fuck.
Well, this is what I was going to say as well, mate. That's another.
Let's not be about the bush. Let's not be about the bush. We're all saying the same thing.
Exactly.
But we've got to get all this and we need to oblige to this, but they can do what they want. But
no, it's a different rule for them, a different rule for us. And at the time of COVID and the lockdown and all that, Nicola Sturgeon was at a funeral. She had no mask on. She wasn't socially distant. She wasn't. But she's on telly.
But then she got caught, and that's why she apologised.
Aye, she only apologised because she got caught. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come out and say, "Oh, by the way, I've got something to tell you." No, that wouldn't have happened. Definitely no. But in terms of the football, mate, I hope after this break we can get back into the stadiums. And as I say, a couple of signings. I don't think we need much, mate. I don't think there will be much, to be honest. I hope the Celtic fans don't think for some mad reason he's going to go and sign another 7-8 players. That's not going to happen. And I just hope we can, kick on again and hopefully we've got a more successful second part of the season than what we have the first, albeit we've already got a trophy in the bag.
No, I'll echo yourself, mate. Trophy in the bags. a big thing. Momentum carries us forward. European campaign was okay to a degree. We're still in Europe after Christmas. Still in touch and distance to win the league. Still got a domestic cup to win. Still got a lot of things to do this year, which I'm confident we'll go and do it. Again, you're a Celtic fan, you've got to be confident. But we're no stupid. We know we've still got a lot to go. But I think overall it's been a decent 5-6 months for Ange to come in, and I think he's made a lot of progressive waves for us. I just think, again, I'm like you, mate, I just think we need to be more confident into the next year. New signings, I think we're a different animal, and we'll just go for them, mate. And again, we'll enjoy the wee break and hopefully get back into the stadiums and enjoy what we love doing, watching football and Celtic. So, again, mate, thanks for your time, mate, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, mate. Take care.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hail, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.